With only a few days left for the spring season to end, we are getting closer to another lineup of new seasons of anime, including new anime films like Demon Slayer Infinity Castle and Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, A Lonely Dragon Wants to Be Loved. However, unless you live in Japan, such films won't be available till probably sometime in the fall season. Regardless, as we wait for those two to be available in the US, we have plenty of other anime series to watch this coming summer, most of which are sequels, but there are a decent amount of brand new series. So, as usual, this is Animenko 9000, a channel where we talk about content related to anime, manga, and other types of media. And within this video, I'll just be reminding you of the top anime series that you'll likely be most excited for in summer 2025. Also, if you want to hear more of the contents I mentioned earlier, just subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Okay, so to get things started, let's go over the brand new seasons of anime. And the first one I feel like mentioning is scooped up by S-Rank Adventurer. Now, if you have watched series like Beast Tamer and are banished from the Heroes Party, the story within this series pretty much follows the same premise, where the MC gets kicked out of the Hero Party for seemingly being useless. But as we found out later, the MC turns out to be super OP. In this case, the main character known as Lloyd was foolishly banished by the Hero Party, believing that he wasn't doing his job as a white mage, a job class where one uses support type magic and help assist the party they are in. Little did they know that the MC was doing just that, and what's apparent is that his support type magic is unmatched by everyone else. No soon later, he joins an S-Rank adventure party, and from there, both he and the party he's with would grow in fame. I've already caught up with the manga version of this series, and I can tell you this much, it's interesting enough to be worth your time, even if you have seen it before. Though you will likely get annoyed at the MC's own obliviousness of just how strong he is. But if that's not up to your standards, then maybe this one that will appear in Netflix is. The series is called The Summer Hikaru Died, and the premise of this story follows around two inseparable best friends, Yoshiki and Hikaru, who have been growing up and living in a royal Japanese village together since childhood. However, one day, when one of the friends came back from the mountains, it was then that Yoshiki realized that Hikaru became a different person, almost like something has taken over his body. And as Yoshiki uncovers the truth, things begin to unravel in this supernatural horror series. It's not really my kind of series, but to those who enjoy this kind of stuff, I'm just giving you further heads up if you have not heard of it yet. Along the way, we got another new series that has a little bit of time traveling involved. It's called New Saga, and here, the series MC, who goes by Kyle, regressed into his past life after finally defeating the Demon Lord, and upon reuniting with the ones he had lost in his previous life, he makes it his mission to stop the human world from being destroyed again, and save it a second time by using memories he acquired from his said past life. I read a bit of the chapters from the manga version, and it seems generally good. I mean, someone in the comments section gave the manga series a 7.5 out of 10, with its story being an 8.5 out of 10, characters 8 out of 10, and world building 7 out of 10. But instead of taking my or their words too seriously, I suggest you give the series a shot yourself. While you're at it, here's a new isekai series called Omnio Katen Rebirth. This story here follows the delinquent Naohiro Takeru, who after getting into an unexpected accident, like most isekai series, finds himself in a parallel universe, and it's a world that Sukumiya, a girl who appears in Takeru's dreams, lives in. Also, after finding out that he can leap through time, and understanding the sort of challenges he'll face when with Sukumiya, Takeru must train with Amano Seimei to fight for the girl's life. Overall, that's pretty much what I can tell you about this series. There is a manga series, but it seems unavailable, at least outside of the US, so I'm not sure what it is that we are about to get into. But based on the way I read, it seems like the series took some inspiration from Re:Zero. Still, I think it's something you may want to give it a chance, at least to pass the time. In any case, next on the list is a remake of a very old anime series. It's called Hell Teacher, and from what I know thus far about the series, is that a town called Domari is being plagued with a number of inexplicable phenomenon, and it usually goes around targeting young children. So, in order to protect the town, and take on the school's 7 mysteries, ghosts, and evil spirits who are attacking the students, a new homeroom teacher known as Noob, who is secretly the only psychic teacher in Japan, arrives to combat such threats, all the while using his left arm, which is rumored to be possessed by a demon. Sounds simple enough to understand, even if I don't know too much about the series, but to those who are more familiar with it, hope it turns out well for you. Up next, we got a new season that's adapted from a shonen manga series called Touken Enki, and some of its elements seems to be loosely based on an old Japanese folklore of Momotaro. For more context, the story revolves around a conflict between two factions, the Oni Agency and Momotaro Agency, and the protagonist, Shiki Ichinose, will suddenly learn about his Oni lineage following an unexpected attack by Momotaro, who then killed his foster father. This revelation sets Shiki on a path towards revenge, and at the same time, lead him to discover about the destiny that lies within his own blood. Truth be told, this one recently got my attention, so I'm curious to know more at how things unfold here. Might even read the manga first. Finally, the last new series in this list that I think many of us are generally excited to see is Gacha Gunta. Of course, I myself am practically new to this series, so I really can't tell you at what you might be getting into, but I have heard good things about it. The overall setting takes place in a dystopian world, where the series MC, Rudo, lives in the slums of a wealthy society that often disregard things as trash. Then, after being falsely accused of murder, despite his innocence, he was casted out like trash and was thrown to a place known as the Abyss. Upon entering this new world, Rudo awakened a new power and begins to seek revenge against those who dumped him into the Abyss, all the while also fending off against monsters made of trash. Definitely sounds like something you want to check out. In fact, I might go and take a look at the manga a bit before getting into the anime. Regardless, now that we are done with the lineup for the brand new seasons of anime, let's move on to the returning ones. First up, let me just introduce the ones that I could really care less about, such as the second season of I Was Reincarnated as the 7th Prince, and upon realizing this very sus anime is getting a second season, my first thought was a big fat why. In terms of quality animation, it does look stunning, and overall story isn't entirely bad. But when you have a protagonist that is given a very sus design choice, it's honestly amazing that this series even got an anime adaptation. Like, I'm 90% sure that the only reason a second season happened at all is because of certain questionable weebs wanting to see more of Fanboy MC. It's almost like you're telling yourself that you want to take the jail route. Really, the only reason I'm mentioning this series at all is mostly out of spite, but to those who are actually happy for season 2, well, there you go. In other news, we also got a 4th season of The Rising of the Shield Hero. If you have seen the first 3 seasons, then same as before, the story with Nafumi, who after getting transported to another world and later gained redemption during the events of the first season, he and his companions would continue working together in order to carry out their mission as saviors of said world. And in the process of uncovering the mysteries of the world, he would slowly gain the trust and gratitude of the people with his heroic action. Although to be frank, I haven't been super invested with the series after season 2, and I can't tell you if the season is going to be good or not. But you know, that's just my preferences, so if anyone still enjoyed this series, hope it still meets your expectation. Anyway, now that we are rid of those two, let's really get into the ones that are deserving of our attention. One in particular is the return of Panty and Stocking, and folks, I think I can speak for everyone here that all those years of waiting and hoping for a new season to finally appear are worth it. Especially since the first season ended over a decade ago, on a massive cliffhanger no less. Now, to those who have yet to watch the first season, the story basically revolves around 2 angels who got sent down to Earth for misbehavior, and in order to get back to heaven, they have to fight and kill off ghosts as well as confronting 2 demon sisters, but now without going through some bit of hijinks. The general premise seems to be somewhat continuing in this new season, as well as being more chaotic. As someone who is also hoping for this series to return, I'm curious to know how the season will start off from the previous one after so many years. Well, however it will start, you know it's going to be funny and enjoyable to watch since the studio in charge of it is Trigger Studio. And speaking of funny and enjoyable to watch, we also got a second season of Grand Blue. For a quick overview of this series, the protagonist known as Iori begins a new life as a college student on the Iso Peninsula, but much to his chagrin, he keeps getting swept to the many antics from the local diving club, leading to all sorts of hilarious moments. Now, I unfortunately haven't watched the entire first season per se, but I have seen plenty of clips of it. There are times it will become a bit cringe, but there are moments where you will laugh your butt off. And if season 2 is anything like season 1, I think we can all expect more laughs. Of course, if you are into something that is a bit more rom-com, then look no further because we also got a second season of My Dress Up Darling. Granted, there are other rom-com series that will be coming out this coming summer, but this one I feel like tops them all. Plus, any season where we get to see more of the fun-loving and cosplaying female lead Marin is always a good season to have. The story continues with her and the socially awkward but passionate for crafting Gojo working and supporting each other as they create unique and beautiful costumes while also showing their talents and true selves. Although I'm not usually into rom-com series, there is just something about these two being together that makes me want to see more at how they develop in their relationship. So definitely something to invest in, unlike a certain other rom-com series we know of. However, even though these are good returning anime series to watch, I believe we can all agree that these 3 returning ones are what we are most excited for. One of which is the second season of Kaiju number 8, and despite how most of you might feel about the overall character design in the first season of the anime, You can't deny at how amazing the quality of animation has been, especially the fight choreography. Also, as someone who caught up with the manga, I guarantee that the fight choreography here will be even more amazing. As a sneak peek, the season will continue where after Kafka was exposed as Kaiju number 8, rather than being eliminated, he got transferred to a new squad of the Defense Force, and there, we are fully introduced to one of the series' best characters and leader of said squad, Jin Norami. From there on, the conflict against Kaiju number 9 will also continue, and I really can't wait to see how the anime will further meet our expectation. Plus good timing too, since the manga for this series is about to end, so something like the second season will help keep getting fans interested in this series. And, of course, on par with the second season of Kaiju number 8 is Core 2 of Sakamoto Days. Although I have heard that some fans had issues with the animation when Core 1 was airing during the winter season, I think the fault lies in the fact that Solo Leveling Season 2 was airing at the same time. Honestly, if you can stop the comparison for 1 second, the animation for this series is good in its own right. And speaking as a manga reader here again, I'm confident it'll get better in Core 2 as it continues where Core 1 left off, which happens to be Sakamoto and his companions facing off against 4 escaped convicts and getting themselves more involved with the assassin world. From the trailers alone, it looks like it will be one of the best anime series for this year. But easily topping that is the second season of Dandadan, and once again, I think I can speak for everyone here that we are all pretty excited for the premiere date, especially after how Season 1 ended on a cliffhanger. Admittedly, I was practically new to this series, but after watching the first season, I can definitely say that the story is good, the action scenes are fantastic, and most of the characters are just lovable. In fact, I even went on to read the manga in order to find out more, which unfortunately led me to get caught up. But getting a little bit off topic, the second season will continue on with the current story arc, The Evil Eye, and just telling you now to the anime watchers only, or at least for those who didn't see the early screening for the first 3 episodes, the season will get crazier and weirder, but it will be even more entertaining than ever. So if you haven't got into the series by now, I suggest you start doing so, because you won't regret it. Oh, and before I end this video, here's a quick honorary mention of 2 series that you should keep an eye on, and that happens to be the second core of Dr. Stone and Arknight. Alright, that's the end of this video. Hope some of these anime series are what you are looking forward to this coming week. If there's any other anime series I could be missing or you are looking forward to, just leave a comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.